Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this program, Our Moments with God, Our Moments with the Word of God, Our Moments with the love, mercy, compassion, and hospitality of God, and our moments also with the holy ones of God, the saints of God who experience God's love, hospitality, forgiveness, mercy, and not to forget to turn the attention to ourselves, and also by doing that be co-missionaries with me simply by receiving the hospitality of God, the Word of God, and share that Word of God by sharing these videos with your groups and ask your friends, etc., to also subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Some years ago, I read a very interesting book as I was going for a retreat. A friend of mine handed over this book to me to take along for my retreat. And the title of that book was The Hospitality of God, a reading from Luke's Gospel. And it was written by one Jesuit called Byrne. Very interesting book, actually. And today, as we hear the gospel where Jesus is being a guest at the house of Martha, Mary, and Lazarus, suddenly we are reminded of the hospitality of God, or hospitality of Martha and Mary, supposedly a hospitality of Martha and Mary to Jesus. When Brendan Byrne speaks about the hospitality of God, he is talking about the whole thing that God does for us. And in this particular reading, the book, he says that even though in this particular reading, Jesus came to be the guest at Mary and Martha's house, he actually turns out to be a host. Please note this, the difference. He's come there to receive the hospitality of Martha and Mary, to have a meal with them, etc. But in practice, he becomes a host because they act like guests, particularly Mary, who sits at his feet and just listens to what he has to say. I am making this video in the chapel because sometimes we think that we can listen to God in the chapel. Yes, of course, this is one good place to experience God's presence and His hospitality. But often what happens, at least what is my experience, or has been my experience in the past, is that people come to church and they come with a pre-planned idea or pre-planned requests or needs that they need to pray for. And they start, just crying out with all their requests to pray. If not that, if they are not praying for their needs and praying for other people, for sicknesses, to cure, etc., then what they are doing is taking a prayer book, reading the prayers. I remember my mother was very good at that. She used to always have a prayer book. She would read all the prayers from her book. And the next thing, after she had finished reading from the book, then she would take her rosary out, which we often do. We go to church, we look for our rosaries in the pocket, and then take out our rosaries and start praying rosary, which is all very good. This is part of prayer. But do you know, a true prayer is conversation with God. What Mary is showing us here is that she is sitting there and having a conversation with God. Luke does not tell us what exactly was the conversation between Mary and Jesus. Were they talking about, let us say, the scriptures? We don't know. Were they talking about rituals? There was no mass those days. There used to be synagogues. Were they talking about the practices in the synagogue? We don't know. Was she talking about her personal problems to him? We don't know. Was Jesus teaching her some moral teachings? We don't know. What we do know is that they were having a good old chat, a good conversation, sitting with one another. And this is what I want to come to, that when we come to church in a chapel, we come not just only to pour out our feelings to God, which is one way, and pour out all our requests from one end, the list of requests, this, or take the book and read from the book all our prayers, or take the rosary and start praying, but having an intimate one-to-one conversation with Jesus. And that means, conversation means not that just you keep blurting out words, you start blurting out all your feelings. Of course, you should do that. But please listen to this. You can enjoy hospitality of God only when you listen to God, when you give time to God to speak to you. And if you are only blurting out your own needs, and if you are only interested in finishing all the prayers from the book, and if you are interested only in finishing the rosary, sometimes one rosary, sometimes all the mysteries of the rosary, then that is not a conversation. And please note, Jesus is quite clear as Martha complains. We sometimes make too much of Martha's complaint. But what Jesus is making very clear, that it is important for you to listen to me. I am the host. I am offering you also the hospitality of God. Yes, in Jesus we are receiving the hospitality of God. We can bring everything to Him. We can share everything with Him. And it's such a wonderful experience to move away a little bit from jabbering or blurting out or just pouring out only our things and listen to Jesus. He is making it very clear. I am not saying that what Martha was doing was not important. What Martha was doing also was very important, and she needed to prepare food. But Jesus tells her also, okay, be busy, it's all right, but also give time to me, to listen to me. And though it is not mentioned in the gospel, my own imagination is saying that after that, Martha had nothing to argue with Jesus about. Rather, she too sat down with her sister Mary and listened to Jesus very intently and had a very good old jolly conversation with Him. And my dear friends, you too, please try to listen to the Word of God, share the Word of God, and receive the hospitality of Jesus. And if you like, you may please subscribe to this channel. Thank you.